Hey guys, my name is Revan Phoenix, and welcome to the Structure of Man Learn to Draw the Human Figure from your Mind Training course. Okay, so in the previous lesson, we went through this process of understanding the pelvis in a 3D view to get a general idea of what is actually going on with this bone structure here that we've invented. Right, so what we want to do now is, since we've looked at this in a basic conceptual idea and perspective, we're now going to come up with some formulas to make it easy for us to get the mind to understand what exactly happens over here and how this bone structure relates to this. So to do this, what we're going to do is first look at the front formulas. Right, and again, the concept of the formulas is just to get you the mind to understand how to draw out the pelvis, and obviously you can just do it freehand later on, right? Leave these concepts behind. Okay, so to start out, what we're going to do is, here let's just draw out a box shape here, right? So we're just going to concentrate on the pelvis area for now. So here I'm just going to make it a little more bigger so you can see this. Okay, so here I'm just going to divide this in half and just go down, because I really just want to make like a box structure here. So just imagine this, that this is going to be the area for the navel, and then over here this is going to be really the crotch area, right? We're just looking at that segment. So I'm just going to pull this down a little bit more over here, and then here I'm just going to do the same thing again, just like this. Right, so here we'll put down a line over here, just like this, and just make sure that on the other side we'll end up in the same direction. Now, here again, you'll notice that I'm just being very sketchy about it over here. So once you get this box, right, so what this box really represents is basically the width of the figure, right? So if you divide this in three different parts, let's divide this in three different parts. So this is going to be the whole head structure over here, right? So from here to here, we're just going to state that, okay, it's going to be really, the head would have been a circle in this, because, right, the chest cavity would have been, we know that we just need to increase the chest cavity. If this is the full head, the half of the head over here, when we divide this, we just take this and do it like this, right? So the above would be the chest cavity, right? So I just want you to take notice that this is where this area is. So once we have this, we can now divide really just this in half, like this over here, and this will just give us that window. So remember, this is the crotch area. So basically, what we want to do is, now we want to change the understanding of this formula, right? So what we're going to do is remove this line here, okay? Because we really did want to divide it in half. But when it comes to the pelvis, we're just going to make a line about here, right? Just don't go too far up, just an assumption that once I have the crotch area over here, I'm going to make a line here, right? We're going to shorten this up, and then we'll divide. So basically, we're just going to look at this box and divide this in half, like this, okay? So it's really going to be this rectangle. And over here, we need to do this so we can, it's like the special thing that will help us understand what happens to the bottom area for the pelvis. So this is going to be very easy. Basically, over here to the half point from here, we right now just need to make two lines like this, because this is going to be the area for the pelvis that's going to be coming towards us, right? So we're looking at the front formulas here. So what this line represents is really this area here, right? This thing curving down. And here I'm just curving it really down even more. Okay, so once we have this, what we're going to do is just go where this half area is and just go like this over here, and then go like this over here, right? It's just this conceptual idea, and once we get this, we're just going to turn and go towards like this, right? So here we're just designing that simple concept of the pelvis. So what this bone structure here is this area over here in the pelvis, right? These two areas. And that's basically it. Now we know that, okay, in the wood design, we know that this is in front of us, and now it's just going to go in the back. Over here, this is the wood design over here, and now it's just going to go in the back over here. Okay, so once we get this, we know that over here we're going to get this idea here over here, which is the same thing as this idea over here, right? This idea is going to be just like this. So we know that we're going to get two bone structures going. See this line here, this is where the crotch area is going to be. Basically that's it. And you know, we already know that we just have to connect this line over here, right? So this here, we can just connect it like this, make it like a heart shape. And that's really it. Once you get this concept down, you're just going to come like this over here, and then come like this over here. Here I'm just, notice I'm doing everything lightly because when I come back in, this is just that drawing process, and then we'll make everything much more better looking. So we know that, okay, well, we know that this bone structure here is going to be going in the back somewhere over here, right? So here is where we're going to make the sacrum. Now the sacrum, we can just make it about here, halfway here, right? So because we had said that it's really the width of the head, but the thing is, because the head is in front and this is the back area of that buttocks, we're going to have to deal with perspective. So really we're just going to make it a little shorter over here for the sacrum and just going to design it in this way, right? So this part here, right, you can really just make it like this over here. This is just going in the back, and then what happens is that from here we know that this is the bottom area that we have talked about. This bottom area is going to always be connecting here, so we know that basically it's going to go down over there, right? And this is just going to go over there. It's going to curve and connect, and this one is going to do the same thing, curve and then connect, right? So here we're going to sketch out just the simplicity of this idea over here. Remember, this is a separate area over here for the sacrum, and that's it. Then we just draw this out. So here, basically, right when you get this junction, right, notice where this is over here. It's about here. So here I'm going to just put this shape over here, saying that this is where the ball joint is going to be fitting, just like this. Okay, so the ball joint for your legs is going to be in this socket over here, and that's it. So now the thing is that when we move forward with these formulas, we're going to have to adjust this a little bit, right? Because if you remember, from the navel area where the navel is that we had said, we're just going to divide this in 3 different parts, right? About 3 different parts. Okay, so you know that, okay, well, if it's 3 different parts, what I want to do is really cut this here, and then I can make it go in this direction. So this is like this curve area going to be here in this way, right? So just remember that this is approximated ideas, and the reason I'm showing you this is because this comes down to the toolkit, because your love handles, remember that junction where we did for the chest cavity, where we come down, that we have this junction here that goes like this in the toolkit. This is the line that I showed you in that toolkit. That's why we did that junction. It's because your ab muscles here, your stomach area is going to be here, and this is where your love handle, right? Your love handle is going to be over here, going like this, and then you'll get like muscles over here going in this direction, right? So just know that in this formula case, the easiest way is to just bring it down here, but knowing that it's just going to be so approximate over here that you'll get your love handles over here, right? And this will all make sense once we actually put this on the skeleton structure. So we're doing it this way because this is like again, that idea of the PEG system and memory mapping, knowing that how we created this so simply, knowing this area here, that these bones are going to be down here, and then you're going to get this junction over here. Right, so here now I can just erase all these lines, basically, and I can see the anomaly in the back. So here I can now make my own version of my pelvis area over here. Right, so here I can actually just curve it in a little bit over here like this, right? Make it like a bone structure like this, and then make it come like this over here. And I know that this is going to be the socket area over here. I'm going to get this like this. Really, it's just going to go in the back over here, and then over here I'm going to curve back in. Right, and this is going to be the area for the sacrum. Right, so you can even put it in a little more if you wanted to. I usually just do it this way. And over here is where you're going to get that small area for the sacrum, right? So here's the same thing. I'm just going to bring it in a little bit over here, make it curve in like this, and make it go just about over here, right? Just like this. Then over here it's going to be the same thing. Just going to make it go like this. And then just go like that, right? And here, over here, I'm going to pretty much do the same thing over here, right? So your leg bones would go in this direction, right? So this is conceptually the most basic concept of the pelvis that we can help the mind understand, right? Remembering how this bone structure wraps around over in this area over here, right? So once you have this, you can even shade this in a little bit over here, right? Just to show like a little bit of a curve, right? So all of these are conceptual ideas, so we really don't have to do such a detailed rendering of this. And over here, your sacrum is just going to be going down. Right, so here you can even put down 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. Okay, so now that we've gotten this, since we have a little bit of time here, let me just show you some additional things here that you can do. Remember, it's all about just getting the basic concept down of the bone structure, and then here we can just come in here and then start to put really small amounts of detail trying to make that bone structure the way we want it to, right? You can look at your anatomical books if you have them, just to take a look at the basic structure, and you'll see the differences in how the pelvis is, but this is the most basic design of the pelvis that all we need to understand about it, because what's going to happen is that once we put the muscles down, right, it's going to all come down to the contour lines that I was talking to you about. And those contour lines of the muscle structures is all we need, right? Then you can make anything as realistic as you want. Okay. Right, so for example, over here we can start to add a little more detail. And then over here, make it go like this, a little more, put a little bumps and bruises on it, you know, like it's this whole bone structure over here. Then over here, I'm just going to divide it like this over here, like this. Just like that. Okay, so now you'll notice that once we start making this into our own version, you'll see that sometimes this bone here, over here is a little thicker, and then over here I did the bone a little more thinner, right? And that's like an organic idea of how we can do these organic things here, right? The human being is not going to be completely symmetrical, something cut out from a piece of wood, right? We're like using mathematical formulas. We just use a little bit of the formulas just to get the basic concept. We can draw it just like that, right? So here, the thing would be well, how would you draw this freehand, right? So let's say if I had this line here, and this would have been the area for the crotch, and let's say that this is where the belly button was. We already know that really we just need to get the middle of this. As long as we know where everything is, it's just going to be like this, right? It's just going to come like this over here. It's just going to sketch it out pretty quick over here. Let's get the basic conceptual idea down, like so, over here, and then just start to turn it again in that direction, right? And this will give you like a basic idea of the pelvis. Okay, so I'll see you in the next lesson.